Easter Island. It has many statues, and we were wondering if you could please give us a sense about what they are, or who are they of, or the purpose of them even.
I feel it's Lemurians.
Mm-hmm.
They were buried there, and it seemed like after each, it was like a mission or an accomplishment, they would erect another one. And I'm not seeing clearly on, it's almost like they conquered something and then they could go to the next phase.
Oh, can you tell me any more about the next phase?
It's not coming clear right now. I will try to scan more. It wasn't like battling another culture. But it was possibly that. They were winning battles.
Oh, thank you. And so the statues, are they representative of people?
Yes, they were made in the image of off-Earth species, and that might have been where they were getting their help to win their conflicts.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Is there any more information you want to share with us about Easter Island?
Easter Island may be having an earthquake come up soon, a big one, off the shore. It won't be on the land. If that happens, there's going to be a huge tsunami that will go west.
Oh, okay. Will anything happen to those statues?
Some of them may split, but the integrity of most of them will remain intact.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Very interesting. And then, are you able to give us information and insights about the weather recently in Texas when it snowed? Can you tell us more about that?
There's been a weather control going on for decades. Those agencies that are secret have refined it and gotten really good at using the machines as a weapon. And it was like a polar vortex that came down from the North Pole that created all the cold air that stuck around quite a while for that area. And then with the precipitation, of course, you get your snow, but it would have only been rain if the jet stream wasn't manipulated to dive as far south as it did. And that was done to show Texas that they are vulnerable, even though they don't really know what caused their weather. The event was just to show them they're not as strong as they think they are, and they cannot become their own country.
Oh, I see. So it was purposeful that Texas was targeted.
It was mainly for Texas. It did affect a lot of different states along the way, because the jet stream went all the way to the river that separates Mexico and Texas, the Rio Grande. And then it would dip back up and went into Louisiana in the southeast part of the United States. So it did affect a lot of states.
Oh. And in terms of it happening again, do you get a sense of it happening again?
Nobody knew that the energy grid was going to falter as it did. Even the clean energy, the windmills and the solar panels, they didn't function properly because of the cold weather. The generators froze up for the windmills, and the solar panels were snow covered and couldn't receive sun. So they failed as well. And that really crippled it more than was intended.
I see. Is there anything you want to tell me about the oil in Texas? We're curious to know if there has been any support or activity from you guys supporting that industry there.
Yes, we don't want the dark forces, we'll call them, to take control of that natural resource. It is, so many things are dependent on oil, whether it's refined or crude. There's so many products made, from plastics to cars. And then, of course, when it's refined, you can turn it into gasoline for your cars or any transportation. And if it's contaminated, or like now Biden's being told to shut down all the drilling on federal land. That's a huge area out in New Mexico and West Texas. If that were to happen, that's well more than 60% of the oil produced daily. So that's one fear. And then the contamination, when the dark forces try to do that, that's when we come and intervene. We don't come to Earth, but we will have ships that will monitor the areas.
Okay, thank you. And talking about Biden, what do you want us to know about him?
There'll be more and more that comes out about his health, and then he won't be trusted to perform his job. And once that happens, they're going to try to start pushing him out of office.
Oh, I see. Do you get a sense of how long that would take?
It may start happening in the next couple of weeks. It actually started already. I believe that he was entering an airplane and he fell up the stairs. And now they're worried that he might have had a mini stroke. So they're going to monitor that really closely.
Oh, I see. And did he have a mini stroke?
Yes, he did.
I
But
see.
it's not being made public.
Okay. I see. I understand. Okay. Is there anything else you want us to know about him?
He's very weak health-wise, which cripples his thinking. So he's not a very strong president at the time.
Okay. I keep hearing people referring to him as a clone or an actor or a double. And what do you see going on there?
He is a clone, but he's been programmed to play this medical role.
And what happened to the original?
He's not alive anymore.
Okay. Do you get a sense of why?
He has been a part of, I'll call it the secret underground boys club that thought they could get away with anything and everything. And a lot of that criminal actions, most of the people have been dealt with. And he was one of them.
Okay. Thank you very much for letting us know that today. We're very curious about ascension symptoms and how our bodies are going to move into their crystalline formations. Is there anything you can tell us about this process today, please?
We see upgrades all the time. It's how your body, your genetic makeup receives it. I can tell you that drinking lots of water, eating less dense foods, plenty of sleep, and surrendering and not worrying too much about what's happening, because that kind of thinking, when you worry, oh my God, my body's doing this, it can snowball. You can actually manifest worse symptoms. So just kind of relax and go with the flow. Drink the water, eat properly, and rest. Oh, and exercise, that helps as well.
Thank you. Good.
But yeah, you will feel not a lot of headaches, more sinus, that you'll feel pressure. Your eyes will itch. Sometimes you'll get a shallow cough, aches and pains in places that you really never experienced, fatigue. Those are the biggest symptoms that your body will experience.
And so why is the body experiencing that? What's going on there?
It's like when you, trying to think of a good analogy for this one. I'm trying to think, and it's really hard to put it into words. But it's what you tune up your car, and let's say it was running poorly for a while, and now you've tuned it up. It may experience, a knock here or noise there until it starts running properly. And that's the best way I can describe it right now.
Thank you so much. And so then can you tell us how we will shift into our crystalline bodies?
Depending on your advancement and your growth, as soon as we get you, it'll be a natural transformation. Some people, the ones that aren't awake or that need more assistance, they'll get it through med beds, and that will help them.
Thank you. Okay, really interesting. And what will we first notice about the crystalline bodies when we are aware of them?
You'll be more aware of the shift before the crystalline bodies come into play. And you'll know when the shift happens. It'll be like a collective thought. You'll know that the body's coming next. And you'll be mentally prepared. Like I said, the ones that are more advanced will know this is happening. And the ones that are not quite awake, they'll get assistance from who they know or who's around them that is in the know.
Fantastic.
And that would be light workers. A lightsaber role isn't really an active role anymore, but there are way showers and light workers. And there's more and more and more each day. And there'll be enough to help humanity through this process.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And when we are on the new earth, how will we reflect back on this current earth in our lives?
A lot of people will, I'm not going to say want to forget it, but they're going to get beyond it really fast. They're going to be so eager because of their freedom and how easily knowledge comes to them. They're going to be hungry for the knowledge. They're going to be hungry for the love they feel. It's all going to be so new and bright and shiny. They're going to be focused on being that better person and co-creating that new world.
Fantastic.
So the history of Earth will be available for anybody that wants to know it or learn it, but I don't think many will.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. In terms of what we call mermaids, are you able to let me know if there is any that are still on this planet now?
There are. They're like family to dolphins, and dolphins have caves that they go down to, which sounds kind of weird, but because they have to have, surface air. But mermaids live in caves, and I guess I can compare their body and how they breathe and swim even to a dolphin. And a lot of people, when they see dolphins, they're actually mermaids.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. And what was the purpose of the mermaids coming to Earth? What did they want to experience?
Like all the other sea creatures, they came from another planet. They're a very docile race. They're full of love. They're almost like a water fairy, I guess you can compare them to that. Instead of being, on the ground, land, they live in the ocean, and they're like fairies. And that's their world. They wanted to, I guess, ensure that the bigger creatures like the whales and the dolphins too, that are in the ocean, had companions. They have a close knit tie to each other, it seems like.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Really fascinating. And so also curious about unicorns. Are there any unicorns that are still on this planet?
No, there's not. They were removed because they were being used improperly. Used, that's a bad term, but we use animals all the time for farming, but they're using unicorns because they do have a little more special uniqueness about them. And we didn't want them animals tainted, so we took them somewhere else.
Oh, fantastic. And so when you took them somewhere else, can you give me a sense of where that would be?
It's not in this universe. It went through a portal and they're somewhere else. It's almost like a secret place, so they're never, abused again.
Okay, thank you. And did they come to this planet for their own experiences, or did they come here to help humanity?
They were here actually before humanity got in big trouble. But this planet was designed to be something of a more relaxing vacation spot, and it turned into negative as we have it now, grew this bad. So the unicorns, they were supposed to be enjoyed and respected, and that was turning.
Oh, I
So
see.
we rescued them and we swept them away.
Oh, well, thank you so much for protecting them from us. And yeah, so fascinating. I always love sessions that involve unicorns and mermaids. So thank you very much. Love being able to get that information from you. Now to current events. I have read that the Evergreen ship, it's a big cargo ship, has been stuck in Egypt and is holding up shipping. Can you tell me about this Evergreen ship?
It seems like it has cargo on it that's being hijacked or held hostage, almost for a price. As soon as you pay me my money, I'll let your ship go.
Do you get a sense of what is in?
Weapons. It looks like guns, but bigger than just handguns. Rockets.
Oh, I see. And I'm assuming then that means that you guys supporting humanity are watching that situation very closely.
Yeah, we definitely don't want that to end up in the wrong hands. They should have never been shipped out of the country in the first place. It's almost like it was a setup deal.
Mm.
Because they knew they were on the ship and they did that. They stopped the ship.
And now that it's holding up all of the shipping, which is a pretty
Yes.
shipping. So worldwide attention, interestingly enough. So what will happen with this ship? How will this look moving forward?
Well, so they don't want to be discovered, the purchasers. So they will relinquish the rights they feel they have. And miraculously, the ship will start moving again, and then everything will return to normal. They don't want the worldwide attention on the group that actually caused this problem. So they're just going to step back into the shadows and let everything return to normal.
Oh, I see. So this will not come out publicly then?
Not that part, no.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anything else you want us to know about this evergreen ship?
There's really not much more to say. It's really a simple thing.
Okay. Thank you so much. And then I'm curious to know more about the purpose of the Washington Monument Obelisk.
Of what?
Obelisk. Obelisk. The Washington Monument Obelisk. Obelisk.
Okay.
We're curious about, from your perspective, what is the purpose of this monument?
Is this located in Washington, D.C.?
Yes, it is.
Okay. That city holds a lot of secrets throughout its history. And I'm feeling there's something buried under there. And so there's a monument erected to protect that. It's almost like a time capsule. I don't even know if that serves a purpose anymore. But when it was done, they thought it was very important to protect that information. And it looks like it's a bunch of documents.
Oh, I see. Can you tell me anything more about Washington? Anything else we can learn about?
It's like it's like a city full of big rats, and everybody bites each other. I see that one. That's the first thing I see when I hear that name.
I see. Okay. And do you get a sense of what's going to be happening to Washington?
Well, in the end, it's destroyed. And there's a lot of people that want to hang on to that city because of the roles they played, the politicians. It boosted their egos. They were very, very important. It fed their arrogance. They're going to lose that whole lifestyle. But they don't realize what they're going to go to is so much better. That will be one of the worst cities on earth. One of the last to wake up. The residents that live there are so hypnotized by the power.
Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you. Is there anything else you want us to know about it?
Don't ever move there.
Okay. Thank you. And we were wondering about from your perspective, the metaphysical purpose and reasonings behind humanity experiencing the event of 9/11.
If you watch videos from that day, those buildings fell as if they were imploded. You would think that something that hitting a structure that tall and that high up, that it would topple over with the force. It would just, inertia motion. It's going to go that direction. But no, it fell straight down. So it was planned. The plan was carried out, and it was blamed on a group or one man. And they chased him around the world till they found him. He's not dead. They say he's dead, but he's not dead. Buried at sea, whatever. The control, it was a big fear factor. They were trying to control water rights. I know that sounds way off base for where it happened, but there's water rights fights like in Brazil, like in South America, and then throughout Canada and the United States. China was wanting all this water, so a diversion was made and China got water. And it was sold very cheaply to them. And that looks like the backstory.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. And so, as a collective, how are we to learn and accept and heal from that event?
I don't want it to sound harsh, but before we came here, we all agreed to play certain roles in life. And that was just something that played out. And there were lessons learned by many, many people from that tragedy. The ones that died accepted that as their exit points.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people grieved, and it is very scary for that to happen in such a big city. You could have it anywhere in broad daylight, just like it did.
Yes. Okay. So obviously, as we know, the people who have perished in that event, that was their life exit point that they had agreed upon. And so if we can accept it as an experience for us to grow from and to learn from the reasonings behind it, to be able to help awaken humanity more, if we can heal from that and grow, would that help the collective who are still struggling to come to terms with that?
Yes, a big thing that should have awakened people is question everything. Because what you were shown on film is not what you were told by the media. So always question everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's always diversions to keep you distracted from what's really going on. And if you want the truth, look within. You will always get it.
Yes. Yes, a lot of things that did not make sense with that event, including the hole in the Pentagon. Can you
There was no, they said an airplane hit it. There was not even any debris resembling any kind of aircraft, not even a little tiny drone. It was shot with a rocket.
Do you get a sense of why that that corner of the Pentagon? What was the significance there?
It wasn't being used at the time. They were actually remodeling, so they knew there wouldn't be any loss of life. And the purpose to actually target that is one of the other planes they were trying to use as another fear factor. It was not going to reach its destination. So they used the Pentagon instead.
Oh, I see. Where do you get a sense was that destination for the plane that did not reach it?
It was going to be a D.C. monument. It was, I think it was going to be the Capitol, not the White House, but the Capitol building.
Oh, I see. Okay. And how was that plane stopped?
There's a lot of confusion inside the vessel. People trying to take over, and then others trying to stop them. And it got to the point where it just like crashed in Pennsylvania, somewhere in Pennsylvania.
So there were people that were driving the planes, but not the people that we were told who were part of this?
The pilots that were employed by the companies were real. They were taken over. I was trying to look for a better word, but they were taken over and they were instructed on where to fly to.
And the people that instructed them to fly to those locations, were they the people that we have been publicly told were doing that?
I get a sense that they were not. They were employed by somebody else. They were like a group of terrorists. They were actually employed. And it feels more like an Asian country.
I see. And so those people obviously perished in the event as well?
Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
They did the sacrifice, but it was going to take care of their family after they were gone. So they agreed.
And in terms of the planes hitting the Twin Towers, what can you tell me about that?
They wanted to use holograms, but their technology wasn't up to date enough to make it believable. So they used the actual aircraft. And it was like a last minute decision. And those planes were taken over and flown directly into those buildings.
Oh, I see.
But that's why they imploded. The hologram would have showed the planes blowing up at the top. The explosives that were throughout the buildings would make them come down, but you still had your explosion from the real planes, and they should have, just went over sideways, but they didn't. They went straight down.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you so much. And then we were curious about the lessons for humanity for the Holocaust. What can you give us from your perspective?
Throughout history, cultures have been taken over. Hitler was trying to design an Aryan nation, and it's like an off-planet race that he was trying to replicate. I don't think he, just one man, wanted it to go as far as it did. He had a lot of evil men in his service that actually did all these bad deeds. Sometimes it was even without his knowledge. The experiments, the scientists were trying to, it's almost like they were like Atlantis. They did bad experiments too on people. We didn't learn, apparently. We didn't learn.
I see. And do you get a sense of what happened to Hitler? We were told that he had committed suicide before the end of the war. Is that correct?
No. He went to, in the Southern Hemisphere, getting maybe South America. He escaped there. And he lived quite a while, into his 70s. He was never discovered. He was a very clever guy. Changed his appearance a little. Already had learned the language in preparation in case things went bad for him. He had that plan. So he fit in nicely.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to tell me about him?
It's almost like he wants to come through and say that if he had it to do over again, he wouldn't play it out this way. He's sorry in many ways. Sorry for all the pain. that he caused people. But it wasn't all. I can only say his idea. I can't get the words he's trying to say.
Okay.
But the planning went deeper than history is showing.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, I can understand how his role. We can't trust too much of the history we know, and we must explore it more in different ways and doing real research. So, thank you. We understand and
Okay.
we appreciate his perspective.